may regret it later. But it's time to summon the master of all things horror.
Greetings, Erod. It is I. It is me. It's Ormsby from Cinema Insane, located in the haunted lighthouse of Mastic. Are you prepared for another round of Halloween Havoc?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Good, because your fans and I have selected some of the very worst horror movies for you to review. But first, I have a very special challenge just for you.
A challenge?
I challenge you, Erod, to your very first ever Halloween casting couch.
Challenge accepted. Alright, so what potential movie or franchise would you want me to cast?
Oh, something very special. The Universal movie Monsters.
Alright, Orm, consider it done.
And don't forget to stay insane. No, Mother. He cannot introduce you to Todd in the shadows.
Jarvis, drop my needle.
Of what's to come. Your groove, my dish, my well,
at least that's the last of it. Ow. Ghosts and ghouls, I'm Erod and I'm the Blockbuster Buster, and welcome to the 5th annual Halloween Havoc, and the first ever Halloween Havoc casting couch. For those of you who are new to this, in this segment, I name my casting choices for an upcoming blockbuster movie. Today's subjects are from movies that are constantly being remade. Of course, I'm talking about the Universal movie monsters. In the 1930s, Universal Studios hit a super streak of successful horror movies that is yet to be surpassed. Each film starred one iconic movie monster after the other, playing host to one of the longest running horror movie cycles of all time. Now before we start casting the monsters, I find it only appropriate that we cast our longest running antagonist. Professor Abraham Van Helsing. A hematologist and college professor turned vampire hunter, Van Helsing's life changed dramatically when he faced off against the greatest monster of them all, Dracula. After this momentous encounter, Van Helsing decided to dedicate the rest of his adult life to investigating and fighting the paranormal, especially vampires, in his ongoing crusade to put an end to the Dark Prince.
Please try and understand. This is not Lucy, the sister you loved. It's only a shell, possessed and corrupted by the evil of Dracula. Liberate her soul and give it eternal peace. We must destroy that shell for all time.
Van Helsing is one of those characters that has had the great fortune of almost always being played by great actors. Christopher Plummer, Anthony Hopkins, and my personal favorite, Peter Cushing. Hell, even my favorite actor of all time, Bruce Campbell, played Van Helsing once. Granted, it was in a really crappy movie, but at least they had a good casting director. Point is, if I would like to see one more actor play Van Helsing, it would have to be Benedict Cumberbatch. Best known as Sherlock Holmes and Benedict is fantastic at explaining immensely complicated exposition with speed and efficiency. He has one of those pensive stares, like he's always planning his next move. And not only is he a capable action hero, but when he does do something action-oriented, it's always fluid and unexpected. Alright, let's move on to a monster that is popular but terribly underdeveloped. The Bride. Intended to be Frankenstein's monster's mate, the Bride was short-lived but memorable, and many feel that she deserves a little bit more screen time and character development.
Friend?
The great thing about this character is that she is still a blank canvas. There is no set way on how to play her or how not to play her. So, to play her, I choose one of my favorite actresses who can handle almost any challenge they throw at her. Juliet Landau. Best known for playing the murderous psychotic vampire Dracula on Buffy, as well as countless voices on the DC animated universe. I choose Juliet because no matter what direction they end up going with the character, I'm confident that she will be able to handle it. Whether they make her a sympathetic victim of circumstance, or the beautiful frightening psychopath.
You see, Miss Edith, if you'd been good, you could watch with the rest.
Alright, let's travel to the burning sands of Egypt. Imhotep, the mummy. A former Egyptian priest mummified for trying to resurrect his forbidden love, Anaxinamen, only to return as an undead creature of vengeance and harbinger of the plagues of Egypt.
You see any more monsters? In the closet? Sure. We can go into the closet. We can do that. Okay, monsters. Ooh! Look at that big, scary monster! Ooh! Listen, you are not going to sleep with your mother and me tonight, so you can forget it. And keep this up, and you're not going to look at those monster magazines. Understand?
What we need here is someone that can play a broken-hearted man that is willing to step over anyone to get back the woman that he loves. Tony Todd. From the Candyman to Star Trek, Tony has played some great tragic figures, as well as the kind of unrelenting badasses that make him the ideal candidate to don the wrappings of the mummy.
You're mine now.
And now we travel from the burning sands to the icy depths. The Gill Man. The missing link, both figuratively and literally, as he is both the bridge between the classic monsters and the atomic monsters and invaders of the 50s, as well as being the missing link between us and our aquatic ancestors. The Gill Man is a force of nature who reacts by instinct and can't be controlled by man. Now, the Gill Man has always been realized through practical effects, not CG. So I think it's really important that we keep that tradition going. And if we do, I think there's only one man that is worthy of playing this character. Doug Jones. The absolute greatest creature suit performer there is, Doug has brought to life such characters as the Silver Surfer, the Angel of Death, and the very best, Smoking Jesus. Doug already did a magnificent job of bringing my all-time favorite merman to life, Abe Sapien, as well as one of the most disturbing cinematic monsters of all time, the Pale Man. Combine the two, and you have the Gill Man.
Behind this door, a dark entity. Evil, ancient, and hungry.
Alright, let's move on with an old gypsy poem. Even a man that is pure of heart and says his prayers at night can become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright.
The Wolfman.
Lawrence Talbot was a civilized high society gentleman until the day that he was bitten by a monstrous wolf deep in the dark forest. From that day forward, whenever Lawrence is in the presence of a full moon, he transforms into a feral beast that not even Lawrence himself can control. All beware the curse of the Wolfman. I think that it is imperative that whoever plays this character can play both the beast and the tortured man. For this reason, I think there is no better choice than
Brad Dourif.
Brad can go to both extremes. He can turn into an inhuman ball of fury, and he can be the distraught individual who seeks to be set free from his personal demon. Now, while this video is dedicated to some of the greatest movie monsters of all time, sometimes the one thing that's even scarier is the man that makes the monsters.
Dr. Victor Frankenstein.
In his own pursuit to unlock the secrets of life and death, the Mad Doctor created one abominable monster after the other. Dr. Frankenstein is for the most part portrayed in either two ways: the ambitious scientist who feels the ends justify the means, or the perverse sociopath who is willing to commit the most vile acts to complete his life's work.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Either way, my choice is
Robert Englund.
the man behind one of the most iconic monsters of all time, as well as one of the greatest character actors alive. I can think of no one worthier on taking on the role of the original monster maker.
Providing white-knuckle, undie-soiling thrills, which are sanctuary for psychos like this, and fans like you. So open your heart, so they can open an artery with a circular saw.
Alright, there is no sense in talking about the Mad Doctor without talking about his most famous creation.
Frankenstein's monster.
Often referred to as Frankenstein, even though that was never his name, the monster remains one of the most popular horror icons of all time, being portrayed as both a hero and a villain in multiple adaptations. This is one of the most important horror icons of all, and I would only entrust this role to one man.
Ron Perlman.
One of my all-time favorite actors, and with good reason. Ron has made us care for a lot of monstrous creatures. The most impressive call for sympathy, of course, is for the fearsome Clay Morrow on Sons of Anarchy. With so many fantastic performances under his belt, I have no doubt in my mind that Ron can play the misunderstood, intellectually sound, and often terrifying Adam to the Mad Doctor's labors.
Hey, hey, hey. They're playing our song. Come on, champ. Let's go fight some monsters.
Well, all that's left is the Dark Prince.
Dracula.
He has many names. His origins are shrouded in mystery, and no one has ever been able to truly kill him. It was his movie that started the universal horror movie cycle, and the golden age of horror. He is the most iconic, powerful, and best known of the classic monsters.
Give me the amulet.
you bitch!
So, without further ado, my choice to play Dracula is...
Jason Isaacs.
Often typecasted as a villain, Jason just has that great sinister glare and those piercing eyes, and that imposing presence that always makes you aware of him when he enters the room. He's cool and collected, yet menacing and intimidating. Perfect to play the suave, seductive, but undeniably horrifying Dracula.
Didst thou ever want to be a pirate, my hearty?
I once thought of calling myself Red-Handed Sarah.
Oh, how original. Our philosophy is simple. 1, want it. 2, you take it. 3, you've got it.
So those are my choices to play the Universal movie monsters. If you disagree, please feel free to say so in the comment section below. For now, here are your choices on whom you think should play Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman. All the world is waiting for you and the power you possess. In your sacrifice, fighting for your right and your red, white, and blue. Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman.
Well, that was fun. Alright, Ormsby, I'm ready to bust some bad movies. Bring on your first challenge.
An eerie sight, for my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise,
He did the mash,
he did the monster mash.
the monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
He did the mash,
It caught on in a flash.
he did the mash.
He did the monster mash. From my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast. The ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrode.
They did the mash,
They did the monster mash.
the monster mash.
It was a graveyard
They
smash.
did the mash,
It caught on in a flash.
they did the mash.
They did the monster mash. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun.
Join the Legion,
Guests
suckers!
included